translation facilities. If we've been talking your language, maybe you should start talking ours. For your action pack, call us free on 0800 800 828. British Telecom. It's you we answer to.
By now, you'll have seen these new stamps from the Royal Mail, celebrating Britain's magnificent industrial heritage. But here's something different. The stamps are now additionally presented in special new designs and linked in this beautiful miniature sheet. It costs £1.40 at your post office from July the 25th onwards. If you want this miniature sheet or any future special stamps posted direct to your home, phone 0800 444 222 now for full details.
There's something unusual about a NatWest investment specialist. He'll never sell you a NatWest unit trust. He'll never sell you a NatWest pension. And he'll certainly never sell you NatWest life assurance. Because the NatWest Group like to do things differently, they've decided not to have their own unit trusts, pensions, or life assurance, preferring their investment specialists to be wholly independent. Free to judge over 2,000 products, each on its own merits, guiding you impartially to the one that suits you best. So, for purely independent financial planning, step into NatWest, and they'll call in one of their high flyers.
Excuse me?
Maria? Yes, last girl left to get married.
Excellent coffee, Maria. You must be an expert.
Not you. Nescafe are the experts. They use only the finest coffee beans, specially blended and roasted.
That must be what gives it such a rich, smooth taste.
Hey, I'm surprised you're not knowing this. How does everybody know about Nescafe?
Whatever you're paying her, it's not enough.
Nescafe, coffee at its best.
You know how the British are terribly reticent, hate boasting? Well, that's rubbish. When you buy a new Metro or Maestro Clubman, shove it down people's throats. Look, I've got a new Clubman, and you haven't. And I've got a free sunroof, and I've got a free stereo, and I've got a free wee badge. Pity it's not a big badge, really. But the best bit, and this will really get in their wick, when you park outside the house, leave the price ticket still on it.
Join me, Edward Woodward, for a celebration of 21 years of entertainment and laughter with one of the most glittering casts ever assembled for one show.
You love it when everything goes wrong, don't you? There's singing, there's dancing, there's cabaret, there's bingo. He goes on till our buffet some night.
A look back through the funniest moments of all the shows recorded here at these studios. The Birthday Show.
The fun starts Thursday at 8:30.
Nice to see you,
And earlier on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, on a more serious note, more realised drama from Jimmy's in Leeds. Now we join television historian Michael Wood as he travels to India.
It's funny, sometimes you set off on a journey not knowing exactly where you're going, or what you're looking for, just that you're looking. Funny, too, how it's often those journeys which grow in the mind afterwards, and, however disturbing, keep drawing you back. India's like that for me. 20 years ago, when we were students, back in '68, many of my friends went on a hippie trail to India, looking for illumination, searching for the wisdom of the East, to a different road from what we saw as the materialism of the West. I didn't go there, and I've always regretted it. For India, they told me, changes you. To be honest, I didn't believe them then. But now, as we near the end of this century of destruction of earth and spirit, with so much of the world wounded, India still beckons. It is so vast, so varied, 800 million people, 1,500 languages, a culture 5,000 years old. It does seem to hold some secret of life. And I know this will sound a little romantic, but I suppose I was setting out hoping to touch back somewhere along the way. With all the pressures of the modern world, how has India preserved itself?
I'm not quite sure, but I think I'm going to go to Delhi, Benares, Calcutta, and down to the south.
And of course, in asking questions of India, we may perhaps learn something about ourselves too. This is only an impression, only one Westerner's journey, an outsider's point of view. I simply went to see. I arrived in Delhi on a Friday evening and arranged to meet an American friend at the great mosque in the old city. Jim's been coming back here for 20 years. Now he's married an Indian and lives here. His view of India is very simple.
Yeah, I like the sociability of the people. Indian people are extremely social. My son is 3 years old, and he has no doubt about the fact that he's worth something in the world and that people are around him and they love him. And the very crowd of India is the warmth of India. And yeah, it's got problems, but there's no place in the world without problems.
But what happens when a traditional society like India modernizes? Doesn't that create conflict?
So the whole question of traditionality and fanaticism is a part of traditionality, but the whole question of traditionality is up against a McDonaldization of the world. I mean, you're going to be able to buy that hamburger everywhere.
Even in the land of the sacred cow.
Even here. Well, that's a possibility. Although find it should be a goat burger.
But is there a problem now with the gap growing between the new rich and the mass of the peasantry who labor in the fields just as they've done since prehistory?
Look at the price of a house in Delhi, for example, is $250,000, and the average... What? Yeah. Anywhere from 200,000, 150,000 up to $250,000 easily. In Bombay, you can double it or more. And the average national income is $250 per capita. So, what extremes? We haven't anything in our culture that even begins to compare with these extremes. I think that's one of the things that makes India fascinating.
The extremes.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can say about India that's not true somewhere. Somewhere. It's the hottest. It's the coldest. It's the best. It's the worst. It's the universe in itself.
And the universe of possibilities in gestures, stray feelings, chance meetings, imagined lives. Don't these intimate signs tell us much more about a country than a dozen news bulletins? And then, away from the warmth of the crowds around the mosque, in the chilly February avenues of New Delhi, the seat of power, it's here that the shadow of modern Indian politics falls. Another side of India, glimpsed as you head to the station to catch the night mail to Benares. It's 15 hours by train, 600 miles south of Delhi, to India's most sacred city, Benares, on the river Ganges. Home of the great god Shiva, and for me, a childhood dream of India. There can be no place on earth like Benares. Older than history, older than tradition, older even than legend, and it looks twice as old as all of them put together. It has many names, but the faithful call it Kashi, the city of light. If you want to see what religion still means in India today, it's here, everywhere around you, totally unself-conscious. They still come here in their thousands every day to worship, to bathe, to sightsee. People are cremated here, they even get married at the water's edge. At least once in a lifetime, every pious Hindu hopes to come here to wash away his sins in the waters of the Ganges. Many come permanently, renouncing material possessions to spend the end of their life, not in retirement, but in what we would consider poverty. This old man came here in the Second World War, giving up family life and a lawyer's practice in Calcutta. Every day for the past 45 years, whatever the weather, he has come down to this spot to bathe. Like many, he believes that Kashi is so holy that to die here is enough to gain salvation, and to make sure he's never even stepped out of the city in all that time.
Did not left this place. I do not know what is outside the boundary of
Kashi.
Yes. Boundary to Varna and Kashi.
So what is...
I never went out.
How have you lived your life then over the 45 years? What do you do each day?
What you see, this is my daily job. This is what
You come down and bathe?
To there and give water or pour water there and study.
In India, is it very common for men and women to give up the world and go into a religious life? This is a common thing, is it?
Yes, it is from the Lord Krishna. It is not any country except India.
Because there are ashrams.
Kashi is the center of religion.
We have got in our Vedas, it is enunciated that there are stages.
His friend then gave me a quick tutorial on the stages of life which lead you to renounce the world and become a free man.
Stages. And we are just I am in the 5th stage and he is in the 6th stage. Last stage.
So Ganganan is that you are a sannyasi?
Yes.
In fact, they both held really good jobs. His friend, I might have guessed, had been a headmaster.
Formerly I was a headmaster and discharging my duties for 35 years, and after the passing away of my wife, I left my children what all they needed, and just now I am free. And when you have got money in your pocket, you have got worry also with you. When you are moneyless, you don't have any worry. So, Asha, that is, desire is the first enemy. Fearlessness is your first friend.
Desire the enemy? Could the secret of happiness be that simple?
Has your life been a happy life here in Kashi over the 45 years?
I never leave this Kashi. And I do not wish that never. Happiness is different from satisfaction. To go. That is mental satisfaction. It is so beautiful, it is so pleasant, it is so favorable, it is so good. I can bear my life is satisfied. I do not know what it will be after death. I achieved salvation in living life.
In living life you achieved salvation?
Yes. I feel a salvation while I am living. What about the death? Who knows?
Who knows indeed what happens after death? At Kashi, all you see is that the measure of your life is the weight of wood it takes to burn your body. But Hindus believe that death is not the end, that we're reborn into another life, that there is a unity of all creation to which eventually we may return. Looking at it through Western eyes, it's easy to think that this is a society trapped in the past, that here religion really is the opium of the people, a people confounded by the stresses of the modern world, finding comfort in dreams. But after a while, another thought begins to nag. Perhaps it is we in the West who have lost touch with things deep inside us, things still necessary to make us whole. We who see death as the opposite of life, where in India, death is the opposite of birth. Cremations continue on the banks of the river all day and all night. The body is reduced to a handful of ash, and the spirit is freed once more. For the crowds on the Benares waterfront, these scenes are everyday life, for they have come for darshan, to see the sacred river itself and to be purified by its water. For water is India's life, and the Ganges is the water of India. It is all India's rivers. Around it are entwined her deepest memories, her hopes and fears, her joys and her sorrows. hard to look on such scenes, especially for us on the outside. Our feelings of guilt make us turn away. It's a short rickshaw ride away from the river to get back to the warmth and safety of the town. There the crowds are gathering, but tonight is Shivratri, the great Hindu festival celebrating Shiva's marriage. It's Benares' biggest night of the year, and on Shivratri everything is unpredictable.
So what happens on Shivratri?
Then many kalakars, mridang player, and everybody making puja of Lord Shiva, and playing some damru sounds.
Now, I didn't quite catch all that, but does it matter? After all, is not this visible world of parking fines and rickshaw repayments mere Maya, illusion?
You come to Shivratri.
Coming for Shivratri, and I'll meet you, and you आप आइए, तुलसी घाट आइए, और घाट प्रधान वहाँ बजाइए खूब जम के भांग का गोला छान के.
On festival days, Benares shows its other side. It's a busy and expensive commercial city where the spiritual and the material go hand in hand. It's a warren of alleys full of guides, shopkeepers, landladies and con men on the lookout for wide-eyed pilgrims and tourists. And all this commerce is watched over by the patron saint of businessmen and shopkeepers, the elephant-headed Ganesh, who removes obstacles and keeps the world